Hello everybody, I love Italian supercars and I love using sports cars and supercars with my children even more. From a young age I promised myself that one day I would own a Lamborghini, and you would think as a father with 4 young children that my prayers had been answered when Lamborghini made the Urus. However, confession time, I've never really liked or lusted after the Urus at all. In fact, I don't see the desirability of these cars, and in this video I'm going to explain to you why and what car I think you should buy instead of one of these. And it's not the one that you're thinking of, but I'm also going to introduce you to this car's owner because I think the way that he's very uniquely using his Lamborghini Urus is the first time that it's kind of made sense to me. Come on, let's get into it. My name's Ben. Welcome to Dadcars. What would you reckon, sweetie?
Win.
Is that fast?
Faster than your Aston Martin.
Right, let's pull over here. Right, here we go. Let's go for it. You ready? Head back. Right, let's kick things off. The first half of this video is going to be me grumbling about the Urus, laying out all the reasons why I just don't think that these cars are particularly desirable. And to start off with, let's talk about the looks. To my eye, the Urus doesn't really look much more special than, you know, a lot of the other SUVs out there. I mean, heck, I would say that there's some crossovers out there from mainstream manufacturers, you know, Japanese manufacturers, some crossovers that are, you know, got some wilder design language now than the Urus. To me, the Urus simply looks like a reskinned Audi RSQ8. And for good reason. You know, these cars are built on the same platform, the Bentley Bentayga, the Porsche Cayenne, and even the Volkswagen Touareg. Jesus Christ, look, hats off to Volkswagen Group. They are absolutely crushing the desirable and luxury SUV game at the moment, aren't they? God. You know, look, don't get me wrong, for an SUV, yeah, look, it's pretty cool, but is it £200,000 list price cool? Is it cool enough to wear the Lamborghini badge? Personally, from my opinion, it's not. Now, this might be down to the fact as well that I can remember when the original concept for the Lamborghini Urus came out. I think it was about 5 years before, you know, we actually got them. Look, I'll flash it up now on screen. If you look at the original Lamborghini Urus concept photos, to my eyes, it looked like a proper Lamborghini. I mean, a Lamborghini that was overweight. But I mean, look at it. I can remember the rear wheel arches, you know, looking really aggressive and, you know, crazy like a Lamborghini should. When you stand back and look at this car, some of the lines, it kind of tricks your eye into thinking that those rear wheel arches do really stick out like a Lamborghini. But when you sort of like stand and look sideways at the car, it's just as sort of flat-sided really as any other SUV that was sort of built on this platform. And that concept car was supposed to come with the 5.2 litre V10, whereas obviously in here you get the, you know, Audi-derived V8, which you see in so many other Audi products. What do you reckon to the sound, sweetie? Can you hear the burbles and popcorn out the back? Can you hear that? Listen, you ready? A lovely overrun, burbles, pops and crackles. It sounds like popcorn, doesn't it?
No, it isn't.
It's actually real popcorn coming out the back of this car.
No, it isn't.
When we stop later, we can eat some popcorn if you like.
Daddy.
And speaking of concept cars, the EV SUV Lamborghini concept car, now that to me looks like a supercar Lamborghini SUV. It looks really cool, you know, really sort of low down, wide and squat with a super low roofline. Whereas just the overall lines and roofline in this it is just a RSQ8 that's just had the roof sort of pushed down a bit at the back. V12 Lamborghinis, V10 Lamborghinis, they just look insane. And I feel like, you know, their SUV should look insane as well. Something that makes a Lamborghini so super is its beating heart, is the engine. And this engine is incredible. And it makes supercar sounds, and the performance is amazing, obviously, but you know, it is just the same 4-litre supercharged V8 that's in so many other incredible performance Audi products. But you know, it is the same engine that's just then been developed and tuned by Lamborghini. And for me, in reality, even though the Ferrari Purosangue is still not a desirable thing for me, I'd rather have an FF or a GTC4 Lusso. But the fact is, you know, those Ferrari Purosangues, they are Ferrari from the ground up built, and it has got a naturally aspirated V12 Ferrari engine. It does sound fantastic, this car. Now, I believe there's a little bit of synthetic engine noise that gets pumped through the speakers, which is a bit silly. I don't think you need it in this car because you can hear it really nicely. And when we were doing the drive-bys earlier on, it sounds incredible from the outside. And even inside here, I mean, the leather, oh yeah, look, it's exquisite. The steering wheel's lovely, you know, it feels, there's lots of drama and theatre in here, it's wonderful. But because these cars cost from £200,000, you know, things which, if it was half the amount, would, you know, you wouldn't bother you. But when you're paying that amount of money and then you start poking and prodding and tapping, finding cheap plastics and stuff, look, at the price point for me, the Urus doesn't make sense either. Look, even second hand, you know, the cheapest ones of these at time of recording in the country, they're around £150,000. Now that is the same amount of money that you see the cheapest Lamborghini Aventadors and even Murcielagos up for, you know, around £150,000. And when you consider that last year alone they made over 6,000 Lamborghini Uruses, now compare that to Murcielagos, which from 2001 right up to 2010, the whole noughties, they only made, I think it's a fraction over 4,000. And for a long time now, the cheapest Lamborghini model that's available for sale has been the Gallardo, you know, around sort of £60,000. And it's my prediction that at some point in the not too distant future, there's going to be so many Lamborghini Uruses that are the cheapest Lamborghinis. So look, if you're watching this in 5 years' time, certainly 10 years' time, please drop a comment below and tell me if I'm right, because I think I will be. All right, let's go overtake this cyclist, so we're gonna have to go a bit fast, sweetie. Good. This is fast, isn't it? And look, fans of the channel know that just SUVs in general, I'm just not a great fan of them. You know, I don't think they're very practical family cars. I don't think they offer much more internal space compared to, you know, the external dimensions and increased running costs.
They have more space than little cars.
They have more space than little cars, do you think?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but compared to like my Maserati, they've got more space. But compared to like a performance estate car, I don't think they've actually got much more space inside, sweetie. No, it's cool. You're saying a good question. But this is the part of the video where normally we hop into the back and check out rear practicality. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to meet the owner of this car, and he's going to explain to you why actually this Lamborghini Urus is being used for its full potential. So, Connor, this isn't your standard Lamborghini Urus, is it? You've made some modifications. Can you show us around?
That I have. So obviously the first modification here is the skateboard grip tape, which comes in handy, as you can see, because I can file my nails. I tend to need to do that. The bumper's missing because I've 3D scanned it. That is in Germany, and I'm doing like a full steel front and back bumpers, skid plates, and all the like. I've got the off-road tires with these Delta rims that are just made. These are cool because they have this ring that goes around it, so you can grind it up against the curbs and rocks, and you just replace the ring, not your rim. Change the screws and all that.
So if somebody was on the school run and then was curbing their wheels on the school run, then you're saying that this would be a good modification
for literally,
mums and dads who are using one for a school run, right?
Exactly, because you just and they even have like decorative rings and things that you can put on there, so that's super cool. And then obviously the roof rack on here from Front Runner that I've added with all the off-road lights. Got like my extra gear, Starlink, tire, got water storage, everything you need, snorkeling gear, etc. Because I am doing a trip around the world with the car. So I literally live in the back. As you can see in here, I've got my bed back there, and I've got a fridge and stove over here. So I've got the bed here. Here's the fridge. I've got all of the electronic controls over here in this panel, as you can see. Got my smoke detector here, just in case, never know, like to be safe. Then I've got the fridge freezer right here. Freezer works pretty well. I would say, maybe it takes a day or two for stuff to freeze, but it'll actually freeze things. And I like to eat healthy for longevity. Over here, I have my stove, as you can see. Cook on that. I've also got an electric stove that works off the inverter on the inside of the car. Here is the carnet, which is like the vehicle passport. And this is the most countries that has ever been put on a carnet according to the carnet place in LA, or at least the most they've ever done. Over here, I've got the Max Tracks, which get me out if I'm stuck in a position. I haven't had to use them yet, luckily, but I have been stuck before I got them. And the car auto locks on me. Over here, I've got some trash that I gotta drop off a Ferrari because we don't like Ferrari, it's a Lambo after all. And got the water filter there. I can put dirty water in that and it literally filters it when you pump it up. I've got all of my stuff here. So I've got like shirts, trousers, pants, dress clothes, socks, snacks, dry goods, camera gear, sleeping bag. I like to keep everything organized in the side of the car over here. It just keeps things simple as I'm going down the road. Over here, it's a little bit, I've got your gear. A little bit messier over here. I've got like a full charging system that's powered off of the batteries in the back, as well as this here, which switches the off-road lights on and off, as you can see. And then moving on to the front of the vehicle, this bumper right now is like barely held on just enough to get it over here. I've added this winch, but this bumper, we're gonna completely cut it at about this line, and from there down is gonna be completely steel with off-road lights. I turned the front light on, as you can see, and all skid plates going underneath the car. And the idea is that I'm taking this car, literally living in the back and traveling around the world. So I'm going Asia, Africa, all over Europe, gonna go through South America, Darien Gap, like literally everywhere, going with this car, living out of it.
You know, most people in this country use these cars literally just to pop to the shops and do the school run. Like,
yeah, well, as you show how good it is, at that, you show that part, I show, how good it is off-road, living in, going through a safari in Africa, racing zebras and, other things like that.
Well, that's it. Look, my biggest complaint about SUVs in this country is that they're excessive. People don't need them for city living, but I think this is a fine example of somebody who is using an SUV for its true purpose. So.
I think so. It would be nice if it was a little bigger. I could fit like a toilet and a shower. That would be nice on the road, but I've got my shovel on the back and nature, and that works pretty well.
Even the LM 002, the Rambo Lambo, that had a Lamborghini Countach V12. Like, do you know what I mean? I've always thought that that's a pretty cool car because of that. But what are you doing up here? We're not driving at the moment, by the way. But imagine if Connor tried to drive one of those around. He'd be literally breaking down every other day and then waiting 9 months for a part to arrive or to be manufactured. So you just couldn't do it. So yeah, look, I understand why I criticise these cars for their underpinnings. Makes it the perfect car for Connor. Right, let's see if these boys like it. Yeah, see, look, that is what a Lamborghini does. So a group of 4 young boys there, they were staring at the car, giving a tiny bit of acceleration, and they all turn around, jumping up and down. Look, whilst this car might not do it for me, it doesn't get me as excited about, seeing a Lamborghini. It seems that the next generation, they are excited about this car. So I think that's worth taking note of. Look, a massive shout out to Connor for being such a good sport, because he knows I don't like SUVs. He knows that I'm not the biggest fan of the Urus, but he was still up for coming down, bringing this car to me today. He's come all the way from America, sweetie.
What?
He's driven all the way from America, and one of the things he wanted to do was bring this car for me and you to drive today. How cool is that?
He must be really kind.
He is really kind. He's a lovely guy. Spent the day with him today. So I do hope you guys go and check out Connor's channel as well, and check out his socials, because he puts some fun stuff on Insta as well. So this video is a little bit sort of different to our normal reviews that we do on the channel. So let's just do a little bit of housekeeping. So, you know, other things that'll be of interest to parents that are looking to buy a Lamborghini URUS, you know, is what's the safety like? Well, I don't think any Lamborghini has ever been NCAP crash tested. But fortunately, the Q8 was NCAP crash tested, and it got a really good 5-star result. And what is this like to drive? Well, when it's in its most relaxed setting, this is as easy to drive around as my wife's BMW X5 30D. Really is, honestly, just like the steering, the throttle response is all, you know, very approachable. Like literally anybody could drive an URUS. And I think that is in part why the Lamborghini URUS has been so popular. Every other Lamborghini pretty much has ever been made is a really hard thing to drive and live with. You know, you're certainly not dailying any other type of Lamborghini, but there are people out there who, you know, everyone's got SUVs, haven't they? You know, having a Range Rover Sport is not enough. So then you've got to get something a bit more special, a Cayenne Turbo S. And then loads of people have got Cayenne Turbo S's, so then you've got to have something else a bit more special. And then, you know, for some people, they really want to dial it up to the most ridiculous thing they can possibly buy, but they also want that SUV to be genuinely dailyable. You know, something that you can actually use every single day, and it's not like it's a big stress to park. You know, parking this with its acceptable proportions, you know, same like all other SUVs on the road, with its reverse camera, parking sensors, very easy. Gone are the times when you used to have to park an old Lamborghini with the door up in the air and you sitting on the sill and looking over your shoulder. I said earlier on about how much the original concept for the Lamborghini URUS was appealing to me. You know, the 5.2 litre V10, those really pronounced rear wheel arches. But I reckon if Lamborghini made that car, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as popular as this. Because a car like that wouldn't be easy to live with. It wouldn't be as easy to daily, would it? And although if I won some crazy competition that said, look, Ben, you can have either a Lamborghini URUS or a Ferrari Purosangue of equivalent value, you know, I would pick the Ferrari, you know, on account of the fact that it's got that engine. However, I have to say that I reckon driving a Ferrari around, which is Ferrari from the ground up, Ferrari V12 engine, it's not, I would assume, going to be as reliable as a car which has its underpinnings from Audi and has this tried tested V8. And so even if Connor said to me, oh Ben, look, I'm going to continue driving around the world, do you reckon I should swap my URUS for a Purosangue? I'd say no. Because you don't want to break down in the middle of Africa in a Ferrari, and your likelihood of breaking down in the middle of Africa in a Ferrari, I would say surely it's got to be more likely than breaking down in this. So for the most ridiculous go anywhere, do anything, overland, explorer vehicle to really properly travel the world solo, I think if money's no option, you know, the Lamborghini URUS is definitely the most cool and memorable thing that you can do it in. And although my precious Ferrari FF is my one-day ultimate dream car, there is something that this URUS can do that the Ferrari FF will never be able to do. And that I would be able to get a 4-cross multi-mac in the back of an URUS and then go traveling around Europe with my wife on the passenger side in one of these. And I will never, ever be able to do that in a Ferrari FF due to the transmission tunnel. But I said at the start of this video, what car do I think you should buy instead of this? You know, and look, here's my recommendation. If you're a parent and you're looking for something like this, and you think maybe, oh yeah, the URUS is the thing to go for, now my suggestion isn't the RSQ7, isn't the RSQ8. Mine is the RS6. Because think about it, you know, fundamentally, the RS6 has only got a 10% smaller boot than this, which would be more than enough for you and your family needs. It's got 4-wheel drive, it's got the same engine as this, and just overall, just as an enjoyable, exciting dad car, I think the RS6 is what I would recommend buying over this. The problem with the RS6 though is that I think they're about the same list price as an RSQ8. And I think that's why everyone's just going for SUVs, because if you're going in, you're seeing at a performance estate and you're seeing a performance massive, huge SUV, it's kind of like that value for money thing where you're like, oh, it's bigger, therefore it's better value. You know, it's like a supersized me type thing. ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, look, like when you're giving it some going around corners, you know, it does do the same thing that, you know, most performance SUVs do, where it's, you know, it's a bit vague and you're kind of telling it where to go and then it kind of goes there, but in terms of connection, it's just not there. But that's probably very much exacerbated by these wheels and tyres that this car's got, because, you know, these are sort of go anywhere, do anything tyres, so I wouldn't be expecting it to perform the best in these conditions. Everything I said in the first half of this video, even after driving it, I still believe to be true. That is my opinion of the Urus. But if you want to, and you have the means to buy and daily drive a Lamborghini SUV with your family, and you want an Urus, I say go for it. And chances are as well, you probably can't see much desirability in me driving my Maserati Grand Sport around as a daily with my family. Well, oh look, there's Connor. Let's pull over and get him to do the final goodbye on this video.
Okay, one more thing. Make sure to hit that like button down below and the subscribe for Dadcars. And while you're at it, go on over to my channel, Camper Genie, on YouTube and Instagram and all the other socials and stuff. And subscribe if you're into this kind of content and want to see me living in the back homeless, traveling around the world.